Might be on, but
Okay.
If he's on, he's on.
huh?
Said if he's on, he's on. Just go.
Yeah, I already started the stream on Twitch, so it's fine.
I don't like it because it messes up I have to fix the timing in post.
Meh. That's a you problem.
No,
I only care about me problems.
No.
Me problems is all I care about. What are these show notes going on? What is this? Show notes.
Skip an extra week.
What's a Nova? Is that a new Voton thing?
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Is there a Nova cannon? In the Leagues of Voton?
And that is the correct. I believe that's the correct punctuation for Nova.
There's a Nova cannon on the ships in
Yeah, in Battlefield Gauntlet.
Battlefield Gauntlet.
I think one of the old epic Mechanicus Lords of War has a Nova cannon.
Danny, you know we can't see you, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I had my.
That's fine. I just didn't. I thought maybe you weren't doing camera
That's
night.
better.
Sometimes I have to because my internet keeps fucking up. Sometimes if the camera on. So.
Scream Nova. We're going to talk about that free major. The major that had like 34 people show up?
Something like that.
It's not a major.
One. It's whatever.
No, I mean, I don't care. They can do whatever they want.
Who cares?
I'm just saying it's not a major.
All right.
You can call yourself whichever you want, but your numbers tell you a different story. Also, I'm too old for drama now, so that's it.
No such thing.
I'm done.
Done and done.
I don't believe that for a second, John.
I don't know. That just sounds rude.
Alright, let's get going.
Okay, remember we count you in, Adam.
Sure.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're on go.
Hey everybody, welcome to another late episode of TFG Radio.
What?
Consistency is the key, so we've been late the last couple times. So.
The Wheels of Steel is never late. He arrives exactly when he means to.
As you can hear, we have John back on,
Yep.
on the Wheels
Oh, you
of
can
Steel.
probably hear my fan too because I didn't turn it off.
Probably do that. In the meantime,
We're professional. Professional outfit.
we also have Danny,
Hey.
and no Tom so far, but he might make it, might not, but we'll see. It's been a few more weeks than normal, so hold on, I have a bunch of tabs open. Nothing. We did have the Hammer Wrath tournament, which I ran a couple weeks ago. We ended up having 35 players, I believe it was. So,
Yeah.
a pretty good showing. Winner was Kyle Perry, but it also
good on
caps
Kyle.
the season with his Harlequins. It also caps the season for our local state championship, and the winner of that was actually Logan Heath, and he got, I believe it's 3 days, 2 nights at the Rio for LVO,
Nice.
as well as the championship ticket and the high roller package.
Nice.
Nice.
Congratulations, Logan Heath. Good job.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations, Logan. He won by about, I think it was like 3 points or something like that.
Oh wow, competitive. Who was second?
Daniel Redhouse?
Oh, okay.
Redenhouse? No, there's no N. Just Redhouse. And he was telling me how he probably would have won if the Palm Springs guys turned in their California. Okay.
Wow. All right. Well then.
I was like, well,
Now
make
we
sure
knew
you
about
tell them
that.
So if you are in a local regional, like ITC regional league, like the Lord Marshall Series,
Mhm.
there's one in the Northeast. I believe there's one in the Midwest, in the Chicago area, I believe. And I believe there's one in Florida. There's definitely one in Texas. I believe like Louisiana has their state champs. So if you're a part of that, make sure your TOs turn in their ITC tokens in addition to your regional circuit tokens. It's very important.
We heard you like tokens, so we gave you tokens for your tokens so that you can token what you token.
It's a lot of tokens.
It's a lot of tokens. Talking tokens over here. See, nobody cares.
Don't get us.
Speaking of, this past weekend we also had Nova happen. They had both the Invitational and the regular tournament.
They did have the Invitational?
Wait, did they? I'm thinking of a different one.
I don't think
No,
they had.
the AOS Invitational.
Well, in the UK, the London GT guys did an Invitational, and they had theirs that same weekend. And Manichima won that one. And that one is basically the Zach runs a bunch of events in the UK, and the winners, I think it was first and second place, or it was all the undefeated players from his tournaments got invited to this invitational, obviously, and so it's a lot of the best players in the UK, and Manny Chima came out on top.
This smells like favoritism.
I mean, because they only invited UK people.
This smells like what you get in a country that still has a monarchy.
It's not a real monarchy.
It's true.
Thanks, John.
What? I was nice. I didn't make any bad jokes.
I meant King John, not.
Oh, where's my crown GIF or PNG? Where did it go? I should have been wearing it tonight. Not comment about it. Just put it on there and be like, "What?"
I meant the real King John. So
The one who stole from the rich and gave to the poor, or whatever. No, that's Robin Hood.
No, he was the opposite,
He was the opposite. Yeah.
according to movies. According to multiple of Robin Hood movies.
Well, as long as it's not
According
one
to
with
the
Russell
deep
Crowe in it,
historical
I'll watch
text,
it.
I can't remember his name right now.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah, Kevin Costner.
I like that one.
That was
Really?
not bad.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But I was like a kid when it came out, and so I was like, "This is amazing."
See, that's why
Alan
I
Rickman was
like.
charming.
That's why I
So was
like
Morgan
Robin
Freeman.
Hood Men in Tights.
Yes, that's probably
Because
Yeah.
the actor says when they say why should we listen to you, he goes because actually speak with a British accent.
British accent.
I was like, no, Patrick Stewart is in Excalibur.
He is.
Yeah, Excalibur's great. God, I love that movie.
I love that movie.
Me too.
No, I am a fan of the Russell Crowe Ridley Scott one.
Oh my God, I forgot that one too. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of shitty Robin Hood.
That's why I said I'll watch any Robin Hood that doesn't have Russell Crowe in it.
Oh really?
Is that the one where they do the Normandy landing?
Basically, yeah.
Okay, Garrett Quinn, I agree with you. The best Robin Hood is the Disney one with the fox, the animated one.
Oh, that's right.
I agree.
I mean, that is a
That's
classic.
what
That one's great. Just because
Not
Baloo is
Elfrid?
Little John.
Yeah.
How do you not like Baloo as Little John?
It also
That's
just
why
gives
he's
us
a
so
time
many
traveler.
memes.
Haven't you seen that meme where he's like a time traveler?
Yeah, I love that one. It's going. No, he's the Quantum Leap guy, right?
He's quantum.
Oh,
leap.
that's
He's
what
the
it is.
Quantum,
Quantum
yeah,
Leap.
Baloo's
yes.
the Quantum Leap
Yeah.
guy in the Disney universe.
Jumping from universe to universe, hoping
Yes.
his last.
He should have played a more
this is his
prominent
last
role in
jump.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
right.
That would have been a great way to like tie that meme thread together.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, Patrick Stewart is the king that comes back at the Kevin Costner one. You're right.
Oh, that's what it is. Yes.
That's right.
Isn't he also the king in Robin Hood Men in Tights? Doesn't he
No,
also
one
come
of
back
them.
to do it?
One of them is. It's not. It's
No,
James Bond.
No, Patrick Stewart absolutely is King Richard when he comes back in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Then
Oh,
maybe
then
he's
it's
not
a
in the
different-
Costner one.
Yeah.
No, it's Sean Connery in the Costner one, I believe.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because
That's why they used. I think that's why they used Patrick Stewart in the Men in Tights.
Men in Tights.
Yeah.
That same gravitas.
It was also hilarious of the repeat of "It's Good to Be the King."
Oh yeah.
What were we talking about? Nova?
Yeah.
We're
No.
talking about Nova, yeah.
Interesting.
We're talking about the UK. UK. Necron's one.
Mm.
It was Harpster, right?
With Harpster, yeah.
Okay, well, so Harpster won. He just happened to be piloting it. From.
So Art of War
I mean-
wins another GW Open.
It's not, technically it's not a GW Open.
Oh,
Even
that's
though
right.
GW
They just helped. They were just there.
They just helped enter the stream, and I'll say it only because it happened. Apparently, also Joe was there. Well, he was there, not apparently.
Who's
Joe?
Joe?
Was there doing a stream as
Joe
well.
Mama?
Joe from War Games Live.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And the rumor I heard, which is not a rumor because it happened on the last day, was that he was doing the Pod 2 instead of doing the Pod 1 like he was doing previously.
Mm.
So, and then GW was doing the Pod 1. So, take that for what you want, what you will. So,
Wasn't somebody running the stream at one point off of a phone hotspot?
yes. That was on day one. That was the rumor on day one.
That's cool.
Quality.
I mean, they missed 2 full years, right, Nova? I'm sure they had to get some
Nova
of
missed
the
2
cobwebs pulled out, cleaned
They
out
missed
somehow.
2 years. I don't know what their association is with in regards to them and the charity itself. I think that because there was a weird thing with the charity that when they in one of their newsletters, and it just brought up a red flag for me. But maybe I don't know. It's just weird. It was just a weird read, but I don't know what's going on with Nova. I don't know if they're getting bigger next year or what. They had 270, I think it was 270 something.
Well, and they
Which
got
is
to use
more-
all the GW terrains, so like they came and like really helped them out. So
Yeah, it was 270 something. Because I know it wasn't 300. Well, it was over 300 tickets sold, but I think only 270 something
yeah,
showed up,
I
which
mean
is
that's
fine.
attrition. That happens.
It's more than they previously had, but they always capped it at 256. So
Yeah, they never went over that, right?
no, this time they did, and they had a bunch of other events. So it was. I think from what I've heard, it's not. It was like most events that coming back after COVID. Probably wasn't at what they're used to, but it's still a lot for that event.
There's just gonna be bumps in the road anytime you come back from doing something after 2 years of not doing it.
Yeah, because the same thing with I think Adepticon was gone for 2 years, I believe. Also,
Yeah.
so it's another successful Nova. We also had I can't see the show notes right now. There are too many tabs open. So that was Nova. That was Hammer Wrath. For locally, our next big event is, or the store's next big event is in November on Veterans Day weekend, which comes on a Friday this year, so kind of works out. So looking forward to that. I'll actually get to play. For us, or for me and Danny especially, Las Vegas team tournaments coming up. The lists are actually due on Monday, and I have to double check, but as far as I know, I don't know if they've sent out the tokens yet, which has always been an issue. But they should be out today.
The team
tomorrow,
tokens, right? Like for the individual teams.
Yeah, so what they do is they send a token out, and you go. Then you go into your BCP, you put in the token, and it logs you. It registers you for the event. So they should be sending out the tokens if they haven't already to the captains. So once the captains are logged in, then they just add their players with their players' email, and then they can upload. Then they start uploading their list for the event. A couple quick reminders, and I'll post this on Facebook and a bunch of other places also. We are using the GW engagement rule as written, so we're not using the LSO amendment. It's going to be as written. We'll see how that goes. And then also, if you do Agents of Chaos or whatever the special rule is, like the Demon special rule or whatever, to have them. So basically, you can have a soup again. It doesn't affect your primary faction. What it does affect and what codexes are available for your team to use So if you're doing Chaos Space Marines with demons, you used up 2 books basically. So no one can take just demons if they wanted to. So those are just a couple of the notes for. And as far as I know, all the questions are up to date for the FAQ.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for the FLG FAQ, I'm not.
Are there any contradictory ones this time?
I don't know. I'm gonna say no because I'm the one doing it, not Jason. And those.
So wait, the lists are due Monday, but the tokens aren't out yet?
As far as I know, they're not out. I haven't checked. I can check right now. They were, according to Kicker, they're supposed to go out today. The tokens.
Cool.
So we'll see. We'll see what. We'll see. I don't know. It's BCPs are the ones that send the token out. So.
Cool. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Oh no, the tokens are sent out. I'm seeing the teams.
Nice.
So they were sent out today. So.
Hopefully all the team captains are around and not, on vacation or something right before.
I'm pretty sure
their supposed to be
their teammates are well aware of like what's going on. So they'll easily remind their captains to check their email. Other than that, I believe and that's in 2 weeks. Lists are due Monday. The lists, I'll probably have to go through the list and make sure no one's doubling up on codexes.
Yeah, don't check. It's their own fault. Red card them. First round. Loss.
And then I'll post a reminder.
If your whole team can't manage to make sure that everybody's playing the right thing, bam. Ruin your weekend.
Perfect. Just like when you get laid off right before the weekend starts.
Perfect. What could be better in life?
Not getting laid off.
Oh no, I assumed in the scenario you were the one doing the laying off.
Oh well, just in general, I guess.
I mean, at this point, aren't we just okay with ruining people's lives?
Yes, but I prefer to do it during the tournament, not outside of the tournament.
I mean, our generation invented, well, not yours, Adam. We invented cancel culture. We should be fine with ruining everything. We're not allowed to have anything fun. You're not allowed to like anything.
True.
Everything must be derided online. If you decide you're going to like something, somebody has to tell you why you're wrong 57 different ways because you enjoyed something that they did not.
Someone's asking, what is the rules cutoff date? The rules cutoff date is actually
yesterday.
No, it's Sunday.
Rules cutoff is whatever it can be to make sure squats can't be played at SoCal Open.
Oh, that's up to Danny.
I guess I'll say this here. I still have to respond to a few emails about it. Squats, assuming they come out within the cutoff deadline, which the battle box should be, will be legal, except you must have the models. You cannot use kit bashes or conversions or third-party whatever for unreleased models because we don't have any size dimensions to go off of. There's no way to reasonably tell what something is based on what it should be. So you can kit bash and convert the units that are out and released, but if they're not actually in wide release, then, make an army out of just whatever's in the box. Sorry. You want to play with the new toys, you're going to have to play with the lack of new toys.
Yeah, I mean, we can't realistically approve conversions based on nothing.
Yeah.
Unless, they put out some size comparison shot that's amazing.
Right. That is highly detailed from multiple angles. Right.
Yeah. So.
Or they release the actual, what do you call it? The actual dimensions. But
yeah, which they're not going to do probably.
Yeah, without that, I don't know how big the hecaton, land tank or whatever they call it is. I have no clue.
Mm-mm.
Is it the size of a Leman Russ? Is it the size of a Land Raider? Is it bigger than them? Right? Is it the size of a,
Valkyrie?
Skydwarf Ironclad?
Who would ever guess that the Valkyrie is the size that it is? Or the Vendetta?
The Valkyrie's massive.
Those things are huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if you're really like, yay, I want to run squats, like, go on with your bad self, but don't be 3D printing a bunch of shit and thinking it's going to be okay, right? For things that aren't out yet, right? Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
like it's just there's no real reasonable way to determine is that the correct size. There just isn't.
Are
That's
there, are there SoCal open news? Or no? That's probably it, right?
Yeah. Do you know the actual cutoff dates for SoCal yet?
No, I'm probably just going to do 2 weeks before, like usual, right?
Cool.
I usually do 1 week.
Okay, well, I can do 1 week.
Or
I
whatever,
don't
I
care.
don't know.
I was going to update that tomorrow. Um,
I'm going
so
to
that
pick
would
an
be-
arbitrary Tuesday for LVO.
I'll probably do it on the, what is it, the 15th, right? Like October 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the week.
So yeah, give people a week. Gives me a week if there's anything actually new out to pay attention to. You know?
Somebody in chat saying, "Oh, I guess I don't need to pump out my 3D printed squats," and then they literally prove our point by saying, "Isn't everything coming out at once? I still can't figure out what base size to use."
Yep.
Thank you for proving the point.
Yep. Like for me, like playing a test game with Tom based on like, you know, the rules we actually have confirmed and all that. Like he was using Primaris who are on 32s, and I'm like, are they on 32s? Could they be on 25s? Are the elite dudes on 40s? Are they on 50s? Like, I don't know what the fuck these things are on.
Yeah.
Well, the heroes are all on top of rocks because they need their box to stand on, like Gimli at the Battle of
Yeah, exactly.
Helm's Deep.
Right, but that still doesn't tell us how big the bases are.
Yeah.
You can probably guess.
I bet those are.
You can
I bet those are
40s.
40s.
Probably.
The characters.
So
I,
more
like
news
I
as
said,
we get
I
closer
don't
to
know,
SoCal
so.
from Danny. Vegas, I think everything's more or less done at this point. Just waiting. It's only like a couple weeks away, so nothing else, Danny, for SoCal. Just that.
Just that
Still
will
big one.
probably, unless Adam, you tell me it was absolutely disastrous, which maybe it could be because with Demons out now, they have more deep striking tech. Like, unless it's
Oh.
like absolutely disastrous, I'll probably just be like, nope, we play the rule as it is, right? We're not
Yeah.
altering anything.
Well, we'll find out because demons will be available. Are okay for
Yeah.
Vegas for the team tournament.
Yeah, like I said, if you really tell me like, oh no, dude, this causes so many problems, and or man, this makes demons stupidly good, then we can talk about it. But
Right.
my natural inclination at this point, since we stepped away from doing like the ITC FAQ and stuff like that, is you just kind of play with the rules you're given, right?
Right.
Yeah, for the most part.
So.
Oh Lord, he
now Tom
come.
appears
Sorry, I had to finish it.
and
Singing.
fucks up my timing.
Oh, well, that I was going to do first. I had to finish singing Four Green Fields with my local chapter. That's a deep cut joke. If
Of
okay,
what?
Four Green Fields.
God, I only hear like 2 seconds.
Is this an Irish thing?
It's an Irish thing.
Oh, okay.
Ay, ay, ay. Well, you can leave now, Tom, because you already fucked everything up.
I am Alfarius.
Oh my god. Since we're talking about demons a little bit, we'll talk about the demon book. Because Danny, you looked at it. I think you looked at it too, Tom, didn't you?
Insofar as I played against it and have done some cursory review, yeah.
Okay, Danny, what are your thoughts? There's a lot of like, not necessarily negative, but ambivalence towards the new demon book.
I mean,
Maybe negative.
it's I don't know, it's one of those things. If it's different, it's a different book. Demons still kind of play the same way, but it's, a lot of their tricks got taken away. Like the Forbidden Gem is nowhere near as good, and there's just a lot of, if you play demons, a lot of what you kind of are used to is gone. Not being able to take the kind of core infantry in greater numbers is weird. Like 7 letters. It's like cool. I don't get to use most of those anymore because every kind of main unit is capped at just flat 10. You get 10 of them. They're much more expensive, but they do much more. Like the greater demons are essentially mini knights. They're really hard to kill. They're pretty resilient. The new demonic save is the invulnerable save buster, right? Like, because things that ignore invuls don't work on it, because it's not invul, it's a demonic save. I think the greater demons are actually really playable. I think there's some fun tricks you can pull off with them, and their new deep striking thing that you can get units to deep strike within 6 of enemies if they are also wholly within 6 or 9 of a model with warp locus, which is basically greater demons and things like that. And so that's fun. And I think in general, I like the book. My corn list is a lot stronger. I can't run as many Bloodthirsters because they're more expensive, but they're fucking killers. The Morbius Bloodthirster, I think, even if you're splashing demons, like if you're taking a pure chaos list and you're like, I just want a really brutal frontline fast melee unit that's going to force my opponent to change how they play, the Morbius Thirster, which is a exalted Bloodthirster with the I only lose 8 wounds a phase at max, they have 20 wounds, so you're getting at least 3 phases out of them. You give them a relic they heal every time they kill a model in melee. They heal a wound on a 4+ or 5+ or whatever to cap at 6, so they can heal themselves, right? And they're just really annoying to kill, and they can do a lot of good work and keep going. And every time they get into combat and heal, you have to yell it's Morbin time. But it's a really effective unit, and you can take that and like a unit of Bloodletters to basically deep strike down with it when it gets close into when it gets into the scrum, and get like an easy 6-inch charge, right? Or 7-inch charge that you can boost in other ways or reroll, and it's pretty good. And then you still can have Abaddon and a chaos list that's pumping out shots and things like that and doing everything else. So I think chaos demons they're good, and I think especially in a chaos list, right? Like mostly chaos space marines with like a big threat out of demons, like it can actually do some work, right? You can have an almost impossible to kill Lord of Change with the Impossible Robe, and that's giving you CP and throwing out a crap ton of mortal wounds, and has a 3+ save to ranged attacks and -1 to hit and all this other crap, right?
Right.
Like, so if you want I want psychic in my army, man, splash a chicken and some pinks to hold down an objective that they'll probably never give up. Have fun. So I think they're good. I don't know if they're going to be good purely on their own, but I think you can make it work. And also, I can run
how good are they? Do you think? What army? I guess what army would you compare them to in terms of in your opinion, how strong the book is?
I think they're like sisters level. I think they can
really.
I think they can get surprising wins. I think they can do a lot. I think they have bad matchups, and I think that because they're so expensive, if you don't play them right, they're going to fall apart. But I definitely could see a really good player taking them and winning a large event with them, because they can be really multi-threat, and especially Zeech's psychic powers still has a bunch of nukes, so you can do some good mortal wound, shenanigans.
Right.
There's a fun trick with basically Bellicor, who has all the demon marks, so you can and I think Warp Locus, so you can deep strike off of him, and so you can do a combo of what is it?
So he's like a teleport homer.
Kind of, and you can have what is it? The Greater Demon of Slaanesh with a +2 to charge rolls. That just you drop in, and it's cool. Well, I have a 7-inch charge with +2. Here we go.
And
Zoinks.
for those listening, that is not Tom clipping his toenails. He's clipping moss.
Yeah.
Is that really picking up? Good grief.
Yeah.
It's fucking loud, Tom.
Yeah.
At least it's not me this time yelling at Tom.
Fine, I'll mute.
Only you could do that in real life.
I mean, people
I don't
can
think they're
mute in real life. It just requires a lot more self-control than pushing a button.
I mean, I'd rather just.
I mute myself all the time in real life and don't talk to people.
No, I don't. That's why I'm not in management.
This is why people like me better.
Go ahead and think that, John.
I will. Don't worry. I will continue to think that till the day I die. Despite all evidence to the contrary.
Oh, man. They only knew Thought I knew the real.
The real John. The real story behind the music.
Yeah, that's why. That's why it's always great when that comes out because you'll be dead and no one will
Yes.
care.
The reality is, I care way less than even people think that I don't care.
So speaking of, we mentioned Votan a little bit, where Danny played with a against Tom this past Tuesday, and kind of just to see how they go. I know Danny's building an army. I believe Tom is also going to build an army.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm building an army at this point. Money tight, and I don't think I can justify a new goddamn army.
I'll use Space Dwarf peoples.
Yeah, I got big bills coming up, so it's that time of the year where the state of California is like, oh hey, pay me. I'm like, oh.
But even so, both you and Tom have really dug into. Like I've just kind of glanced over it. I didn't really because I don't care.
Yeah, I've been poring over all the news I can get.
I don't care about those type of midgets. I know John, as you can tell from John's face, if you can't see it, he doesn't care.
Nope.
'Cause
Like
it's
I
not
said,
knights.
you'd be surprised at how much more I don't care about things than I let on that I don't care about things.
But
The only thing you care about is reminding us that you don't care. You actually do care.
I do care that people know that I really don't care what your
it's probably
opinion
the
is.
biggest thing he does care about.
But it's not because it's like, oh, a Freudian slip, you actually do care. No, it's just you really don't care, but you really want to make sure everybody knows that.
Right. So hopefully they'll leave me alone.
I do
You
not
can
think that
also
works
just
how you think,
ignore
though.
Shut up, Tom. Just because it hasn't worked once yet doesn't mean it won't eventually.
Oh my god.
But if I push this button every time,
Yeah.
Tom, since looks like you're the one that's going to actually get into the Votan, what are your thoughts from what you've seen?
well, I'd like to first of all say that there are a lot of people who are going to be playing squats because they consider them OP or game breaker or this or that or whatever opinion they have. I am playing them because of Space Dwarves, so therefore we are not the same.
Where's the Giancarlo meme when we need one?
Basically.
But I've also seen people saying how much that they're not good.
So I'll say this.
It's funny.
It's one of those things where they have a lot of cool rules, interactions. The judgment ability is pretty nice. It's definitely going to piss off a lot of Tau players because it feels like a better version of Marker Lights.
No, it doesn't feel. It is.
I mean, your words, not mine.
Tom needs to keep his own peoples happy. He can't go pissing all over Tau when he's been a Tau player since for forever.
I'm going to
Yes,
make sure
true.
Tom only pays against Tau players.
That's fine. And actually, quite honestly, I could see Tau being one of the armies that, ironically, does very well against Photon. The reason being because, anyway, so Photon, with their ability to turn things into auto wounds, that helps against armies like demons. So, for example, playing against Danny's demons, I was able to delete a big old major demon turn one. But part of the reason that was the case was because he was a huge target and I went first. And you know what? Dice gods be dice gods. I had some good rolls. It is tricky, though, because he still gets his demon saves. So I don't have the ability to turn off. I have the ability to turn off invul saves, which is really nifty. So it'll come in handy for sure. But against demons, it's not going to do squat.
Right, not us.
Yeah. Yeah, then that was actually not intended. Ultimately, I think that they're going to do pretty well in that they can put out a lot of firepower. I think they can take a bit of a punch, but ultimately it's going to really boil down to how well do you run them, what's your army comp look like, and what's the meta look like. I mean, they're going to have their bad matchups for sure. If they get into a shooting match with Astra Militarum, especially if it's new Astra Militarum and new AM is not bad, they're going to be blown off the table. They're not going to be able to handle that much firepower. If they get into something that's much better at close combat than they are, which there are a lot of armies out there, they'll melt. So it really just, they feel like good all-arounders. We'd made the prediction that they would feel like what Space Marines should feel like, and that's kind of true. I feel like they operate on a level, at least points-wise, the number of models you can get for 2,000 points is pretty good. Their secondaries, two of them are garbage in my opinion. But there's a third one that's actually pretty good. It's almost like a guaranteed 6 points off the gate, but getting it to 9 to 15 is still hard. But still, you're putting up good secondary points there. So I think there's going to be the same typical brouhaha, people yelling, people screaming, people yelling at each other because internet, and then it's going to settle out and be fine.
Okay. Danny?
I think they're good. I think there's something that they actually bring interesting to the meta based on what we've seen is because of their judgment tokens, they bring real rate of fire, right? Like, because they don't need super special weapons. They don't need all of this stuff, right? It's just, oh, I have 3 judgment tokens on this thing. Cool. I'm converting half of my shots to armor saves, so I'm skipping a whole section of math that this game is built around. So have saves, right? Roll dice, dude. And I think anytime you're making your opponent roll dice is, a good thing. So I think that's something that's going to catch a lot of people off guard because that just simple rate of fire mechanic means that it doesn't matter if you bring a horde, it doesn't matter if you bring a hard target, it doesn't kind of matter unless you're playing hella MSU. It's not really going to matter. They're going to gun you down with just volume of fire. So I think that's going to be a problem for people until they kind of deal with it. I think they'll really struggle against something like Eldar that's got a lot of MSU, that can hide, that can avoid kind of the big hits and then drop down and fight on their terms. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be a real problem, I think, for Votann. Outside of the bikes, they're slow, right? Like they're not a fast army, so they're going to struggle to get board position early. And like a really fast alpha strikey army that's going to immediately dominate the center is going to be a problem for them.
I understand. With all this advanced technology they have from all these completed STC things they have, why don't they have more fast hover things and teleportation?
That's a good point.
Why does...
Because fast doors doesn't work.
Why does Call have all this technology that the leagues don't?
I mean, who says they don't? We don't have the... One, we don't have the full codex, and two...
Is that 10th edition Votann, the fast dwarves?
Yeah.
The airships in AOS are fast, right?
They are. I mean, that's the funny thing. In AOS, the Sky Dwarfs are actually like a mobile shooty army. They're kind of more like actual Tau, of the way Tau was always kind of talked about as this very mobile, dynamic shooting force.
Right.
I understand. The Tau suits just stand there.
Well, not now. Back in the day, they didn't.
Oh, I remember Jump Shoot Jump Town 4th edition. I used to do that. Pissed everybody off.
Yeah, it's fucking annoying.
Hey, this terrain's infinitely high. Cool, I jump over it. I shoot you. Okay, so I'm going to shoot you back. Nope, I'm going to jump back. I can't see you. Nope, this is infinitely tall. Oh, yeah. But it's just it's just a piece of felt. It's just a piece of green felt. Yeah, but it's woods. Man. It's infinitely high woods.
I'll put the trees down if you want.
That hill is just a 1-inch tall piece of foam. Yeah, infinitely tall. You cannot see me.
You cannot see me.
So yeah, I think leagues will be fun. I think they will be good. I don't think they're as game breaking as some people are making it out to be. I do think their mechanic, if you're not used to it, is going to lead to feel bads for sure.
The fact that the judgment tokens don't go away, I think, is hilarious. That's why.
See, they don't, as far as we can tell. But the interesting thing to me is that it's not like you're just throwing out judgment tokens willy nilly. There's really a limited number of ways to get them. I mean, I played a list where I thought I was able to throw them out pretty effectively because I had a high call, so I'm doing it twice, and each time someone's judged, they count as being one higher. So in a way, I'm throwing out 2 and 2, but your gun range still actually has to matter. So for example, my Thunderkin couldn't do anything turn 1 on people I marked because he was too far away, so it didn't even matter.
The only thing that makes me want to play this is I want to make literal tokens that say grudgement tokens.
Grudgement.
And I want to literally throw them at things on the table. And I want to carry them around in a box that looks like a giant book. And I can call it my Book of Grudges. My Books of Grudgement.
GW used to have...
Why don't you just have Smug Baby Goat on the coin?
Just
true.
Oh, yeah. The other side says Grudgement. The other side is Smug Baby Goat.
GW used to have a...
Instead of playing Leagues of Votann.
a copy of. I think it was a PDF copy of basically a judgment scroll that you would write the person's name on and give it
Yeah.
to him. When
I
you
mean,
play Dwarves in
look,
Fantasy.
I like playing dwarves in Total War Warhammer 2. And I'm not gonna lie, when I finally get around to being able to play the campaign in Total War Warhammer 3, I'm probably just gonna play freaking dwarves again. Because whatever. They're dwarves.
See, so why don't you play Votan?
I don't need
So he's
another
leaning towards it now.
I don't
if he
need
can
an
get those
army.
tokens.
I don't need another army.
But you do, John.
Yeah.
I have 2 armies, Chaos Knights and Knights, and they use all the same models.
You mean, and now you have 4 armies because now you have 2
They're also Horus Heresy armies.
Horus Heresy.
All right. Look at all these armies I have.
the book coming out. Well, whenever it gets here.
Tom, somebody wants to know what league you're going to run. You're going to run the Chaos one, right? The ones from the homeland of Horus?
The Chthonia.
Yeah, assuming they release the Hell Cannons. I mean, that's all I want are Hell Cannons. No, the Greater Thurian League.
Yeah.
For
You
now.
want Hell
That-
Cannons. Danny
Yeah,
wants a
dude.
train.
So the Greater Thurian League, I'm not going to remember all of it, but basically, you count for higher objectives. You get to reroll 1 hit or 1 wound per attack sequence for a unit. So kind of like that's a mechanic we've seen before. But the cool thing about each league is they interact with judgment tokens in a different way. So it's almost like they have 3 traits. So the first 2 are army, and the third has to do with judgment. And the Thurian judgment one is you count as any person with a judgment token counts as 1 higher. So if you've got 1 judgment when I'm shooting you, you actually count as having 2. 2 to 3, and then everything caps at 3. There are other ones that do various other things. I mean, there are some other leagues that looked really cool. There's definitely a close combat league you could run, where you just take all the Berserkers and all the Einhir Hearthguard and just go nuts on your opponent. Just get in there as fast as possible. I mean, that's possible. There's various ones. I mean, they all have their different kind of flavors, but that one I'm going for because I'm trying to focus more on shooting firepower. I don't feel like building a melee build. I've never been good at melee.
Okay.
That's why I played Tau. And so, like for me, I'm trying to play this army very much like advance, shoot, like kind of grind my way up the field, kind of like I would if I were to ever actually get into Astra Militarum.
Okay, hear me out. On the cover of the Book of Grudges that I keep my grudgement tokens in, I'm going to put the Anakin I Hate You meme as the cover for my Book of Grudges. Yeah? I
You're
think
putting a
so.
lot of thought into this, man.
I know.
I'm just saying.
I know.
I'm only thinking about it right now.
You're caring about it a lot.
I'm just coming up with this right now.
I'm hearing what you're saying, but
So divine-
I've
This is
got
the only way I can get excited about things, is in the
two
moment.
words, Judge Dredd. You know,
Because
you're
2
gonna
on the
have to break that
nose.
now.
John, you could also use the grudgement tokens as a judge.
Wait, what?
You just walk around and throw them at people as you judge them.
No,
Oh my
he
God.
heard you. He heard you. He just
Oh
that
my
was a
God.
what of excitement.
I need grudgement tokens that I can put on tables at LVO.
Here we go.
I'm gonna carry the book around the book of Judges, the Book of Judgments.
The key thing is that you have to make sure that people whom you judge know without a doubt that they cannot keep the tokens. Otherwise, people will intentionally get flagged just to have an interaction with the token from you. Because I know I would.
Yeah, some people would do that. It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So
Are we moving on for Votan because dwarves are dumb?
I don't know. Final verdict, Danny.
Danny muted.
Danny-
I think he dropped
Oh, he
his
muted?
entire
Oh,
life
okay.
on the floor.
Yeah,
Tom?
I think that happened. My verdict is I think they're going to be fun. I think they're going to be a great addition.
Compared to what other book do you see them as?
I see them as a mishmash between Space Marines and Astra Militarum, with a hint of Gene Stealer
So
cult.
they're gonna suck.
No,
mean,
I think
yeah,
they're
I mean,
going
in terms of power.
Oh, I think they're going to be mid
Low
to
B
upper
tier.
mid tier. I think they're going to be upper mid tier, honestly, in the hands of the right.
Like demons.
Yeah, I think
So
they
if
could go
you're
on par
using
with
the
demons.
S tier, A tier, B tier, I'm thinking B
Yeah.
tier.
B maybe the lowest of the A's.
Yeah, they're definitely not S tier. They're not
No, they're not S tier. Not
They
at
will
all. Anyone
ruin
who-
some people's day, which is fine.
Oh, but that's any army, right? Anybody who becomes completely
I
ill-equipped.
don't know if
I mean-
guard are going to ruin anybody's day.
I don't know. As a Knights player walking into a Lehman Russ fighting match, absolutely not. I wouldn't want to do that. And who knows what that codex is going to bring too.
They don't suck, Eric, when they're just good. Not great.
They're not. They're not.
Maybe, who knows?
They're not auto take, I guess.
We'll see what happens when we actually see the size of the models.
Yeah.
So that just leaves World Eaters and Guard as the last codexes, which will come. Which they said is winter for both of them. They didn't say what order. So.
Which feels very fitting considering the last time we saw Guard and Khorne Berserkers together was Dawn of War's Winter Assault.
Oh my god.
I mean, that's a freaking deep cut if you ever got one.
No, that's true. Hey, that game was great.
That game
I'm
was
I'm not saying
legit.
it's not great.
You just hate that I made that reference.
Yes.
Why? That's a legitimate reference. Danny, did you pick your life up off the floor?
Yes.
Okay, good. I saw something out of the corner of my eye and heard something, and then your camera was off, and I was like, yep.
Everything's fine. All fine here. Just a minor plasma leak.
How are you?
How are you?
So, in addition, there's more Horus Heresy stuff coming out. They just announced a book that's going to have basically everything else Imperium loyalist, I should say.
Where's
in
my
that, which
damn
includes
Demons of the
Custos,
Rune
Assassins,
Horus Ascended.
Militia, all that stuff. So,
There's a Horus
Compare
Ascendant
until you
model
get
now,
Demons of the
apparently.
Rune Storm.
yeah, oh man, that model's so good. You could probably just use them as a regular Horus. I don't know how big the model's going to be compared to the. It's probably bigger than the original Horus.
Yeah, he's got to get swole from that demon juice.
Yeah. He's been on demonoids.
So, so I'm looking forward to that model, getting that model, and have somebody else paint it because I'm not going to paint it. Which they also teased about doing the other Primarchs Ascendant. So,
Like Mortarion, Angron.
yeah, especially the
Fulgrim.
Demon Primarchs. Yeah.
They already did that, though. They're 40K models.
It's
Not
no,
Fulgrim.
not Fulgrim yet. And also, what they're gonna do is it'll just be the exact same model except in Forge World boxing.
And smaller. They'll scale it down for reasons.
Twice the price.
Yeah.
They only have a couple hundred years of chaosification, so they have to be
No,
smaller.
it's like months or a couple years of chaos.
Years.
At this point.
It takes them like a decade to get to Terra, right?
It's like the Horus Heresy is 7 years so far.
Mhm.
Okay.
And when they get there, I mean, they're described pretty much as we see them in the 40K books and the 40K pictures. So
Once they've ascended, yeah.
I'm assuming
Yeah.
I'm going to call it just alternate pose versions.
Alternate pose Mortarion. Alternate
Yeah,
pose.
that's basically what it'd be.
or
Correct.
the-
Magnus.
Besides Angron.
Magnus, but is Magnus there on Terra? He's not, right?
No,
he is.
I thought he wasn't
He
I
is.
thought he was just pulling the strings from the.
warp or whatever.
He's on
oh,
Terra.
that's right. He
in
in
the
the,
be-
Magnus book. He goes there. That's right.
Yeah, well, he's also in the front operating center in the first couple books. Then he does his thing without spoiling,
Yeah.
and then he's now where he is now, which is
Without spoiling.
without
Got it. Right. So he's there and
He's
not
around.
there.
I can say without spoiling too much, he's actually on Terra in the first book
Yeah.
because that's just the first book. Just
Right.
frickin' read it by now.
Well, he's also on there in Fury of Magnus.
Mhm.
Right. He's weird because like he's like Schrodinger's Primarch. He is both real and unreal at the same time, right? Like,
It seems fitting though.
yeah.
That's actually a very apt description.
Especially
of him.
once he's ascended, he is both like
Yeah.
in the warp and out of the warp. Like he's Schrodinger's Primarch. I like
Yeah,
that. That's a good
Mortarion-
analogy for him.
Mortarion is no longer there, but Mortarion was there.
Mortarion be a bitch.
Yeah, and Angron's now there.
Yeah, and boy, he angry.
Well, he spent all that time in the maze.
Yeah.
I'd be angry too. If I was in a rat's maze.
That was,
wait, did
you
you
know,
mean-
I actually
did you mean
liked that
Vulcan?
about the Korax book.
Uh-huh.
The where he has to like go through the maze to get the Primarch and like to get the Space Marine like and Primarch project stuff. Like he has to go through that booby trapped maze the Emperor made. I really like that part. People hate on that book. I like that book. I like Deliverance Lost.
It was okay. No, he's in
Plus
the
Alpha
maze.
Legion.
They had him in the maze in the Night Lords battle barge.
Vulcan or Angron?
Angron.
Oh, I don't remember that.
It's the only way to keep him from killing everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do we
that's
stop him
exactly
from
what
going
they
to
did.
Terra? Put him in this maze.
They put him on the maze just to keep him busy until they get
Yeah.
to Terra.
Yeah.
Yeah. Horus is like, hey, Night Haunter, that's gonna hold him, right? He's like, well, it should. We're ready to jettison the whole maze into space.
We go find out.
Yeah. We gonna find out together.
So yeah,
Really be like, I don't know. How pissed do you think he is?
so more Horus Heresy stuff. Then again, they showed Horus Ascendant, and then like they're going to do basically alternate sculpts of the Primarchs. I'm assuming the Chaos Primarch.
Fulgrim will be
I'm
cool if they
assuming-
ever freaking do Fulgrim.
Snake Fulgrim.
Like
I'm
he will be
wondering if they're
really
also gonna
cool if they
do-
ever actually do it.
Yes. But I believe the sculptor only mentioned the four god ones, not like Lorgar or some of the other ones.
Well, Lorgar's not really ascendant.
It's not ascended yet.
Not in
Not
Horus
at all.
Heresy.
Oh.
No. He and Perturabo don't get ascended until later.
Is he on?
Yeah, I know,
is
but-
is
yeah,
Lorgar on
Perturabo
Terra?
left.
Man, I gotta reread the
No.
Battle of Terra book. He's not,
He's
right?
not. No.
Before in Slaves to Darkness, if I'm remembering correctly.
It's
No, it's not even Erebus. Everybody fucking hates Erebus at this point. But basically, Lorgar tries to basically coup Horus in a way, and Horus is like, GTFO, but I'm still taking your legion.
Yeah.
And
think
because
that's pretty much how-
Lorgar's kind of a bitch, he's like, whatever.
Yeah, he ends up, like, he and Corferon end up somewhere else for some reason. I can't quite remember. And then the leader of the Word Bearers Legion at that point also tries to do a kind of coup thing, but it's not as effective, or maybe it's against, I can't, it's been so long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So more Horus Heresy stuff. They released a bunch of stuff the last couple of weeks, and there's a lot going on.
When do we get
All
a
the plastic.
Lionel Johnson ascendant?
We should have one of him asleep.
I mean,
like Sleeping Beauty
Yeah. Yes, that's his
in a
40K.
glass coffin,
40K model.
lying down taking a nap.
technically speaking, we could get, the only loyalist descended we could get would be Russ.
Yeah, I've been saying for forever, give us a Wolf and Russ. Who freaking cares? If he's really been in
Dude.
the Eye of Terra hunting people all this time with the 13th Company, give me 3 times Primarch size Wolf and Russ. Who cares? Do it.
Did they
Hello,
retcon
Game
that?
Store. I would like
Give
5
me
copies.
Give me Jagatai on a bike.
Do it. Print money.
Yeah. Or Jagatai comes back. He's kind of into some more goth looks now, and he's
Yeah.
got like a Dark Eldar bike. They're like,
with
No,
a bunch of
just
chains and
Lobo
skulls
from
hanging off of
DC.
it.
No, Lobo from DC vibe. That's
Yes.
what I want for Jagatai.
Yeah. Literally dragging Dark Eldar corpses behind him on chains.
Yep.
"Sir, are you all right? Yeah, I'm fine. Did anything happen to you? No, but I just listened to a lot of goth now."
No,
Or
it has to
Dark
be.
Eagle.
You push a button on the bike and the little speaker plays the Mongolian metal band.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Yeah, these ideas are free, GW. Just do it.
I mean, we're printing you money over here.
Well,
We
if they
don't
really
just
wanna-
shit on things.
If they really want to print money, they would release 40K and AOS rules for this dude and watch
Yeah.
them sell like 3,000 more units
Sure.
like overnight.
Or Cabanda.
The problem is they don't have that many units to sell.
That's also probably true.
It takes a month to make one.
Well, I got mine.
Every
How
mold
big is
line
it?
is lovingly placed.
Let's see. So, let's see if there's any other questions on Patreon and the Twitch stream. Patreon, real quick. we have.
Didn't somebody ask a really detailed question?
He asked a bunch. So first one, if you were, this is a good one. If you were to publish the next balanced data slate for 40K, what would you do? We'll go with Tom first.
I'd fix Tau, give them back some of the stuff that got taken rid of. I'm sorry. I think that they got shafted unnecessarily. I'd make Space Marines a bit cheaper. I don't know if you can do that in a data slate, or if maybe something to allow them to operate more efficiently. And by more efficiently, I mean take more models. In terms of debuffs, I don't know. I can't really think of any debuffs off the top of my head, any armies that I've really hated because I haven't played a lot recently. So I will save my ire for a later occasion.
Danny.
I would probably roll back the Tau nerfs, at least some of them. I would definitely change Nephilim to your Warlord trait and First Relic are free, right? To open up some list building and
also that
less brutal. And then honestly, that's about it. I mean, last I looked at some of the stats coming out, it's not like it was as bad as it used to be, where there's clearly one army or two armies that are having these huge win percentages versus everybody else.
I think Tyranids are still up there.
Yeah,
and Necrons.
Overall, I think things are.
Well, that's
I might tone down Necrons a little bit just with their CP, so they can't basically max their secondary every game. But that's about it. I wouldn't actually be too heavy-handed because I think the game is in not a super bad place. I do think the Nephilim rules about CP and your Relic and Warlord's dumb, and I would definitely change that in a heartbeat.
John.
So I have thoughts.
Okay, then let me go before you have to, because you're going to take forever.
I'm not going to take forever. It's simple. My thoughts are simple.
Oh,
Because it's a data slate thing, right? So what you do is you remove all previous nerfs that were not made because something literally didn't work. Okay, so any rule change that's been made to for balance, get rid of it. Put everything back where it was. Now that most of the codexes are out, because the claim was everything was written and balanced against each other in their original form.
Okay.
So if that's true, everything should be fine, with the exception of the 2 books that aren't out yet, right?
All right.
So anything that was done to nerf any army, make it any less powerful, get rid of it. The only thing you keep, maybe, are points adjustments that are points adjustments down.
Okay.
You get rid of all point adjustments up also. So keep all point adjustments down, get rid of all point adjustments up, and see if it really is balanced like it was supposed to be. And do what Danny said, with the 1 free Warlord trait, 1 free Relic.
Okay.
Because really, it's dumb to pay CP for something that you've never paid CP before for. Come on. Or if you want to do that, make them cost points. Assign 10 points to each one in the codex and be you have to pay 10 points or whatever. You have to do in 5th edition or whatever for psychic powers and warlord traits or whatever the nonsense was, right? So that I think I mean honestly, if the books are all so OP when they come out because they were all supposed to be played against each other in the way they were, let's see. Since most of them are out now, I'm on the cusp of 10th edition.
Yeah.
All right. See, it wasn't
I agree
long-winded.
with Danny. I had to wake up. I agree with Danny in regards and everyone else in regards to the CP for relics and warlord traits. I'm not sure about Tau, but again, we haven't seen Tau, and that's probably why. The big thing I think I've noticed since playing, especially in the current league, is the disparity in the secondaries.
Yep.
And I don't know if I would tone down some of the ones that are just auto include, or especially just auto 15 points, and maybe look at at some of the other ones that nobody takes. But I think the secondaries and the relics right now are really the only thing I think are the biggest things.
Yeah, but I mean we've been over this. The missions themselves are just bad. Am I allowed for my answer to say redo the entire mission set?
You can. That's fine.
No, because I think you asked about data slate, right? I like to play by the rules.
Well,
Our adoring
it's an
fan
updated-
asked a specific question, so
It's about the data slate, not
Yeah.
the mission book.
Mhm.
But they usually reset them. They historically at this point they've reset them every new year, calendar year. Because we got Nephilim at the beginning of the year, right before LVO, but we didn't use them, so it's probably going to be the same this coming LVO. I mean, we don't know for sure, but it's most likely. So, second question: do you think it's a good idea to have more cash-based prizes in 40K tournaments in which they're financially lucrative for players to make a living off, i.e., second 2K for first place at X event? So actual almost basically like Magic, where if you're really good, you can just make a living off of winning events.
That's just called scale. Honestly, I mean, what's the scale of people buying into events, supporting that cash flow, and supporting that kind of organization?
Well,
That's
he's
all
not
it is.
questioning that. He's just asking if it's a good idea.
I don't think it's a good idea.
I mean, I guess that's everything entirely, which makes sense why I didn't answer it, because I usually answer the question that's not being asked. I will say, I think it's just neutral. I think it's like you could say just some good things about it, bad things, but it's just if it happens because it's possible, and if it doesn't happen, it didn't happen because it's possible. What we shouldn't do is try to artificially push for that objective without doing the things that get to that first. A stable tournament environment, healthy tournament play, a healthy rule system. I mean, that's all we ever talk about, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Magic works very well for that because it's a mathematical system. I mean, at the end of the day, you can reduce all cards to formulas, and that they have certain rules and interactions. There's dice involved in this game. There's measurements. There's human error. It's a lot harder to do that with. So to get to that, like, is there pro play? You have to make sure that the foundation for that is laid down first, and not go, start an organization, call it, pro desktop or whatever, and then try to just create something out of fucking thin air that doesn't exist yet.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm with John. You said not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
I think I'm with John on this one only because once you get actual cash involved, as opposed to like box prizes or even store credit, because store credit is kind of like not real cash because I can't spend it to pay for gas. If I could, however,
Can't pay your mortgage with it.
Yeah, the cash brings a whole new element and a whole new set of problems that I think it brings in more bad than good.
You think people cheat now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait until their like livelihood is on the line to play this game of toy soldiers.
Yeah.
And they've got a max scores in the early round against, Joe Schmo from God knows where. And they're going to bend that dude over and destroy him by taking every advantage they can, every angle they can, so they can get 100. So they can 100 every round until they get somebody else they know. And then those two guys are going to both try to cheat their asses off against each other. And try to sell the other one who wins down the river after the game is over.
You sound kind of like Mr. Garrison talking about evolution. All right, kids. So the school board wants me to talk to you about evolution. You got this monkey.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you guys think that the whole cheating nonsense is bad now, put actual cash on the line, and people's actual livelihoods on the line. Like, there's a reason. There's a lot of cameras in casinos.
Mm-hmm.
All
right. Number 3. Assuming the same information and transparency from GW, why do FLG and WTC get FAQs and rulings different from each other? Is that simply a philosophy difference?
Yes, it's a philosophy difference. Because we're in the Discord with those guys, Adam and I. It's an FAQ rulings group. And there are fundamental philosophical differences between us. Which is fine, because we're in America and they're in Europe. There's going to be philosophical differences when it comes to that kind of stuff, because our basis for decisions is different. And believe it or not, that's a very tame Discord server. Like,
Yeah.
we're not all up
Or-
in arms at each other over rulings and stuff. Like,
or rules discussion.
they'll say something and we'll be like, well, I don't know, I see it this way. And they'll rule their way and we'll rule our way, but whatever. And it's kind of rare. Like, there's not that many things that we're that far apart on, really.
No.
And none of us, like, go and shit on each other publicly about it either, because, like, it's fine. That's their thing. They're 3,000 miles away across the ocean. They can't do anything to me.
Yet.
Because anytime that happens, we turn into America and we go, well, you fucked with our boats.
Wait, that looked like one of your boats sinking that boat. Nope, you fucked with it.
So,
It was
yeah, it's a
staying
philosophy
along.
thing. It's nothing else than that. There's no malice, no nothing. It's
Yeah,
literally just
and-
a philosophical difference on judging
Yeah.
your rulings.
John,
We
you
also-
can't just rent a pontoon boat, paint the word Lusitania on it, throw a rock in it, and blame all of the WTC, okay? That doesn't make any sense.
I can, and I will.
Yeah, it's the group itself is fairly tame, like John said, and very really helpful, especially when there's those really odd rulings or odd questions. And,
Yeah, there's a bunch of the Australia guys in it too, right?
yeah,
There's all kinds of people in that group.
yeah. There you go. See, John plays nice.
Yeah,
Um,
with people who I legitimately believe are my intellectual peers.
You know, a lot of people will be mad at you if they could read English.
Those people will be really mad if they can understand what you just said. I'm like Bilbo Baggins at his birthday.
I did forget to mention that our local league ended, and I was able to successfully stay in Pod 1
Nice.
somehow.
Didn't Danny win something? He won like
Danny won Best Sport, and that's
Yeah.
only because, not only, I mean, he was a good sport, but he went 0-5, which
Oh,
helps,
yeah.
helps in the
Perfect.
voting.
Yeah, perfect record.
Yes.
Yeah, playing all corn. So before the new book dropped. So
Before the new book, yes.
it would have been interesting to see what it would have been like if I had the new book.
It would have gone 5-0.
Maybe. I doubt it actually, but I would have probably won. a
You
couple
never
games.
know. With limited wound,
Good old Morbius.
limitations. Yeah.
Morbius and Abaddon together.
Kara Quinn says, isn't it on the line for a lot of pros? Yes, and I will point you towards a couple of very infamous cheating problems with some of these people who are pros.
And you have people cheating now that aren't pros
Right.
and are just playing. So,
Yeah, I mean, a part of it too is I don't know. I have a philosophical issue with not every hobby needs to be
Professionalized.
matchmaking system. Yeah, like it's okay if this is just a thing people, the vast majority of people do just to blow off steam, right? Just to have fun. And, I think when you open it to that avenue of, okay, well, now you can make a living, you're going to get people in there who are going to positive experience of others who do just want to enjoy it as a hobby, right?
Right.
It's just, I don't think it would ever be a good idea. I mean, a few people try to make the living off of it, but they're not making a living off of their tournament winnings. They're making a living off of everything
Coaching.
else. Yeah, coaching.
yeah.
Videos.
Videos,
Podcasts.
all that stuff. Patreons.
People who push their
Right.
Patreon way better than we do.
Yeah.
I know.
You can even because a lot of the people that are the worst case because they're them and Glasshammer are the biggest ones I think or the most well known. A lot of the Art of War guys, and when I see their name, it's like I've never heard of you. So they don't make their money off of the winnings of whatever tournaments, and the winnings aren't enough to make that much money. It's really off the coaching,
Mm-hmm.
like Danny said. Kara Quinn is asking.
His Patreon question.
Are the three secondary choices from your codex the biggest problem in secondaries?
Yes.
And why did you do that?
God only knows.
Yes and yeah, because
Yes and yeah.
yes and yeah. I was gonna say
Moving on.
yes, but I don't know why they did that.
He says it made 0 sense to him, and guess what? It makes 0 sense to us.
I do question it as to why 3 because we had in early 9th with the Space Marines and Dark Angels, let's say, we had issues it was a problem because
Yeah.
they would be able to choose their Dark Angel one and then choose their Space Marine one.
Yeah.
And I did ask about it at one point, and they said that's how it's intended, and I just thought, but that sucks because no one else can do that.
Right.
So I don't know if they had planned that from the beginning, or if it's something they just kind of saw with
Like,
Space Marine.
oh no,
and
that's
just
by
thought-
design. Oh, and by the way, here, everybody take everything. Yay!
Which would be fine if everybody, like I mentioned before, if everybody had viable secondaries.
Which
Or
they
more
don't.
viable secondaries.
Not everybody's
Yes.
secondaries are equal. Like,
That's why I.
as somebody who's a Knight and Chaos Knight player, like, there's not that many. Like, Chaos Knights actually had the better secondaries, in my opinion. The easier to achieve ones.
Right.
Especially after I put my thinking cap on and read one of them more carefully. And I was like, oh, wait, that one's actually pretty good. After I played it wrong an entire game.
Yeah,
The way it actually plays is decent.
the Chaos Space Marine ones aren't most of them aren't very good, and mainly because of the limitations put on them, which some of the other earlier books do not have.
Yeah.
Like I played Steve just in a pickup game on Tuesday, and we more or less had the same secondary where it's do something to this objective, and you get X amount of points. For me, for Black Legion, it's despoil Dominions, and you get 1 point if it's in your deployment zone, and 4 points if it's outside of your deployment zone. His, which I believe is spread the sickness,
Yeah.
is four points outside his deployment zone, like mine.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's in his own deployment zone, it's 3 points.
Yeah.
And his is at the end of his turn.
Yeah, because it's an
Mine-
earlier
mine
codex.
is-
It's a better version.
Mine is at the start of my next command phase.
Right, yeah. It's worse.
His-
It's like Demon's
his-
version.
His, he has to own it, and mine, I have to have no enemies on it,
Yeah.
or within 3 inches of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we were talking about it, and his are just much better than mine. I mean, we both can only do it once per turn, or once per. Yeah, one unit can only do it at a time, but still.
I mean, I think, like, here's the thing. Like, I think the idea is actually good of having these specific secondaries for, specific codexes.
Mhm.
I don't like taking all three because then it really, what it comes down to is each one should be basically like, if you build your army this way, you can maximize this. Right, which I think is fine if you only have to choose one, because then you're like, oh, well, I'm going to do a board control army, so I'm going to take this one that's really about like being all over the board doing these things. Or you have one like, oh, this army can monster mash, so here's something that really only monsters can do that gives you something to do besides just like rushing forward. Like, I think that's cool for rewarding different builds and encouraging different builds, but just the kind of free for all, like, yeah, sure, take them all. It really just makes it obvious when one codex actually has 2 really good ones, or even worse, has 3 really good ones, right? Because then it's like, cool, well, they're just always going to win the secondary game. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And that's what you don't want, right? You don't want it to be just either, cool, all of mine suck, or, oh,
Yep.
these are actually
That's
amazing.
what happens when you play against a competent Necron player.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So you're going to max all your secondaries. Oh, you maxed out one secondary first turn? Awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I got a 4 this round on the primary. Guess I can't win.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. Because that's the game with Necrons. Necrons are like, well, I'm going to max, and that's what I think some players playing Necrons don't get right now. Yes, you're going to max your secondary. You have to make sure you stop your opponent from getting any primaries, or like a very low amount of primaries, turns 2 and 3. If you can do that, you've won. Like, you've won.
Yeah.
Because they have to score their primaries and max their secondaries to get close to your secondaries, because you're basically auto-maxing. So if you can do that turn 2 and 3, your opponent is screwed.
Yeah, you can just scoop at that point of like, wow, unless I can actually, even if I table you, it doesn't matter unless I can table you turn 3, right? Like, you're still
Which you're
gonna
not
win
going to do
points.
against
Yeah.
Necrons. Against a competent Necron player playing a good list, you're not scooping them turn 3. And that's why I think you see a lot of Necron players struggling, is because a lot of Necron players are missing that key component of they don't see they don't see the matrix entirely. We've talked about this before. They're not seeing the entire matrix. They're seeing I have easy secondaries. Cool. I'm going to coast to a win. And against a lot of people, sure. But if you want to win, like Jack Harpster did, you have to understand the underlying ways to play the list.
Also, just a quick reminder that we're coming up to our annual haiku contest.
Nope, no, we're not.
Yes, we are.
It doesn't exist.
I believe I have to talk with you guys about it.
Fake news.
I already have an idea for it. So hopefully we'll announce.
Maybe
it
I
next
have an
episode.
idea for it.
You don't know because you don't care. You're
No, his
established.
idea
Did you just pull a Trump where you denied something and then said you could improve it later in the same breath?
I did.
I'm actually just impressed.
I mean, he is my Lord and Savior.
Anywho.
Come on, somebody take the damn bait.
No. I didn't take the Lord of the Rings bait. I didn't take...
That wasn't bait. I was making a point.
Mhm.
I just didn't use the term Lord of the Rings when making it.
That's fair.
Yeah, so we'll have more information about that next episode. But so get ready, get your thoughts already on haikus about various subjects,
I have thoughts.
and hopefully,
Don't do it. It's all of John's thoughts. Don't do it this
No. I have like a legitimate thought.
It's actually scary.
It's one, but I have it.
we'll discuss it after.
It's a great thought. It's the best thought.
No one
There's
There's
has
no,
like
there,
it.
nobody has thoughts like these thoughts about haikus. Okay, nobody has a haiku contest idea like my haiku contest idea. But haiku contests don't exist; they're fake. This is fake
I
news.
walked in there. I said, "This is a lot of haikus." I said, "Wow, that's a lot of haikus. So many haikus in one place."
Oh my god!
My haikus are so good; they're golden. They're gilded in gold, like my
Gilded
apartments.
in gold, like your toilet. Don't forget the podcast Grand Alliance. I don't think there's any more questions.
Oh.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it. Before we go
Keep the
on,
ball rolling.
I think- all right, just double checking. Don't forget about the podcast Grand Alliance with TFG Radio, which you're listening to now. Pod Save the Imperium, which we'll do an episode someday.
Someday.
While I stare at John.
John's busy. It's okay.
I know.
We all get busy.
What do you want?
To do a fucking episode.
Yeah.
I thought that was clear.
I don't hear nobody coming up with ideas.
Ladies and
we have
gentlemen,
ideas.
Danny's impersonation of Karn the Betrayer.
Y'all come up with an idea for an episode, we'll do it.
We have a
Oh
whole
my God.
folder full.
I gave you a spreadsheet,
No,
Granted,
I gave us a spreadsheet.
and I added copious notes to it.
Well, somebody let me know
Copious.
people loaded notes so I can go look at them.
Chris.
Okay. What are the other ones? Party at All Points if you're interested in Age of Sigmar, like Danny. Flying Monkey Wargaming Podcast, which caters more to the Midwest scene.
if you
I
care
believe
about
that's
the Midwest.
it for now.
Next Pod Save the Imperium episode. Why Sanguinius is the best Primarch.
Oh God.
Oh, you have to read that. You have to read the book.
I know, that's why I'm saying it.
So don't forget to listen to all those podcasts.
I know everyone knows what side I'm on.
Why Vulcan would beat the shit out of Sanguinius.
There you go.
Not impressed with Vulcan.
Hey, shut your whore mouth.
I'm
They
just,
really- I
I'm
mean,
just
to
telling
be
you
fair,
from
they
what
don't
I've
give
read.
him a ton to do.
I'm not impressed with Vulcan.
Well, you know what? Vulcan wouldn't be impressed with you either. But he'd still give you a hug when you need it.
I'd rather not get hugged by a giant Primarch. Probably kill me. Unless
He'd
that's
be
his
gentle.
intent.
Of all the Primarchs, he's the only one who would be gentle when hugging a mortal. All the other ones would be like, oops.
He's probably the only other one to get the concept of a hug.
Yeah, probably.
Russ does.
Oh yeah, Russ gets that. But he can't hug anything that's not like a wolf.
Yeah.
You know he gets cuddles from those giant-ass thunderwolves.
Why else wouldn't you? Well, you got it. It's a dog. Why wouldn't you? dogs are for cuddles.
So we also have, don't forget our sponsors, Hammerhead Games at hammerheadgames.net.
What a great website.
You can also check out their Shark Tank, which is where they post a lot of their info, especially when they have sales and things like that. And then our sponsor, who also hosts our events with us currently, and that is Gameology, specifically Gameology Pasadena. You can just go to gameologygames.com, check them out. They do have a web cart and do deliver. So give them a look. Stop by the store if you're ever in Old Town Pasadena, especially Tuesday
Vote for
nights.
them in the best of Pasadena.
Just for the food and drink alone, there's a lot of good places to eat near the store.
Sure
Mhm.
is.
And I
Really enjoy the new
believe
barbecue
that
place.
is it for tonight. Danny, you have any parting shots?
Not parting shots, but my usual: play games, be nice to each other.
All right. It's not a very good shot.
That's
Tom?
not a bad shot. I could. I mean, you want to?
No, because it'd probably be at me. Tom?
Please read the next Siege of Terra book. Please read all of the Siege of Terra books if you have not read them. They're amazing. That is all.
Yes.
Even Mortis, because screw you people who don't like Mortis.
It's not the best.
It was
Out of
good.
all of them, it is the weakest.
You got to listen to it on Audible because Jonathan Keeble's like the greatest
It
voice
is.
narrator of all time.
I agree with that, but the book itself
With
is
Jonathan
the weakest.
Keeble.
He's so good. He's ridiculously good. The other one that's
Very
really good is the woman who does the Beckwin novels.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
And don't add me with your incel comments because I said I like a woman doing something related to 40K.
You didn't say she was a space marine, so you're fine.
That's true. I didn't mention her being a space marine. That's true.
I am enjoying however, the She-Hulk and all that other stuff. Rings of Power,
Oh yeah.
Dragon, and
House of
Tom
Dragon.
Strip reminded
I am
me
enjoying
Rick and
all
Morty.
the things the internet tells me I'm not allowed to enjoy.
Rick and Morty. First episode of Rick and Morty was this past Sunday, which was a very good episode. So look forward to it. It's a
the
busy
internet
weekend
says you're
starting
allowed to
Thursday.
like Rick and Morty.
What?
So the internet says you're allowed to like Rick and Morty.
Still, some parts depends what you're watching.
That's true.
We haven't canceled
I mean,
Rick
they
yet.
They weren't smart enough to realize there was a whole episode dedicated to making fun of diehard Rick and Morty fans. So,
Oh,
Yeah, it continues to do that.
yeah.
Very
Still,
much so.
yep.
Ironically enough.
Yeah.
But Homelander's a good guy, though, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah, Homelander's totally like good. Why I don't understand why everybody hates on Homelander. And
clearly
why,
on a redemption
why
arc.
do these people
Clearly
make me
on a
want to
redemption
like
arc.
not hate Homelander? I don't understand.
John, any other last words?
Yeah, enjoy what you like and spend less time on the internet.
You're saying to go touch grass?
Just do what you like, enjoy watching what you want to watch, and stop listening to people on Twitter and whatever your social media is of choice. And God help you if your social media of choice is TikTok.
I mean, thought talk.
I mean, whatever talk.
You're talking about the philosophy-based TikTok. It gets you to think, thought talk. Is that what you're
Sure,
talking about?
sure. That's what we meant by thought talk.
that's exactly what he meant.
I was hoping to
Excellent.
go an episode without
I-
philosophy.
I just wanted to make Adam one last time. Adam mad at one last time.
It's not going to be the last time.
I know.
Don't worry about it.
This
Our
episode,
haiku
I know.
contest should be dad jokes. That wasn't my idea. I just thought of it right now.
That's not your idea.
That wasn't my idea. But
We'll see.
that's my
I'll
new
float the
idea.
My idea is probably a bad idea anyway.
This
so-
is my public idea. Dad joke haikus.
God. Dad jokes. Okay. I like that
Well,
one so far.
Way to get rid of the integrity of the process by making it public. Now, when we release the white smoke out of the chimney, we're
Nothing-
announcing we think the haiku.
Nothing with
People won't
nothing
believe that it
having to
wasn't-
do with this podcast has any kind of integrity.
Which the dad joke wouldn't be appropriate because Tom just had his 10th child.
That's true.
Congratulations.
He is now the most.
Congratulations on your 12th child.
Thank you.
Yes.
Me and my 17 children are very happy about the addition of our newest member.
is the
How do
most
the other
Catholic of
33
all.
children feel about the 17th?
Well, it depends. If you look at the first 20, they're not that about it. But if you look at the second 25, they're actually pretty good about it. I don't know.
That's
It's kind of
because
like half and
they're
half.
too young.
Yeah.
When do
But
you move
yes.
to the compound in Utah?
As soon as I get my license for being a non-Mormon in a Mormon state. I think I just have to pretend that I'm married to more people, and then they'll be cool with it. Because the kids I check out on, but they're like, wait, one wife?
Yeah, they're
Huh?
like, how did the one birth 33? You need at least 15 wives for this.
You
And I'll be
adopt.
like,
You just say
yeah,
adoption.
adopt. The other wives travel for work.
So yes, Tom just had another child. So congratulations to Tom.
Thank you.
He is the most Catholic of all of us.
Not
he
sure
was
how
that
that
before,
worked, but
though.
okay.
So it's not a big. It's not a big.
I mean, you're not getting any arguments from the rest of us, so.
Yeah.
I know.
Like, yeah, okay, weird flex, but go on.
Unorthodox display of hubris. Continue.
If anything, I'm more prone to. It's more of my Irish heritage than my Catholic one.
That's true.
Isn't it the same thing?
Depends on how guilty you
Only
feel.
if you have a fourth one in the next 8 months, or whatever it
God
is.
no.
For
Oh, it'd be
Irish
God,
twins. What is
Yeah,
it? 11
well,
months or whatever?
He already has one. I think
I
it's
walk-
within 18 months. It's
I
Irish
walk
twins.
everywhere now with a cell phone in my crotch pocket, so I'm hoping the 5G waves just kill this.
You sit with hot pots
There's
on
a
you.
surgery for that, Tom.
Yes, but that's
I
as
don't know if
Catholic
he's
as I
allowed-
can
I
do
don't
it.
think he's allowed to do it.
Okay. I thought we were on the final
Free
words,
episode.
Adam. How'd you let this thing
We
go so
were.
far off the
Did-
rails?
What were your final words, John? I forgot already.
Enjoy what you want and stop listening to
Oh,
stupid
that's
people
it.
on the internet.
Oh yeah. There we go.
I feel like there's a bit of irony there.
John with
Two
saying with
thumbs
authority.
up for the irony.
I meant all of us collectively. I wasn't trying to specifically target you.
Well,
but
we can
you know
put
what?
we can put 8 enthusiastic thumbs up for the irony.
There we go. Well, thank you everybody for listening. As always, even though we had it a little bit longer because of the heat and John not wanting to melt in his room.
I'm melting right now. Like, I'm surprised
Well,
you
just be
don't see
glad
the
it's
sweat coming down off my head.
106 or whatever. It matches the sheen of your hair.
No, that is literally sweat in the hair. That sheen. That's not anything else.
I'm literally dying right now.
Yes. We're gonna turn the computer off. I'm gonna keel over and pass out from heat stroke. So
So
tell
you're
my
saying
children
that
I
you
love
stay-
them and where to find the body in the morning.
You mean when they find the cats eating your body?
Oh, fuck those cats. They're gonna eat me alive.
Yeah.
Oh shit! But thank you everybody for listening. Again, we'll see you in a couple weeks. I believe we can do an episode right before the team tournament, or at least I can, because I don't think any of you guys are going to the team tournament, so
No, sadly not.
we should be okay.
I don't play
But,
team
thank you for
tournaments.
listening.
No, team player.
Good night. Yeah, good night.
You
And
know.
listen tomorrow.
See ya.
Laters.